How do I, this is Son of Man, how do I learn to talk to animals? What's the name of that, of the tablet that's in it? And how do I learn more about the person Allah? All right, so that's a few questions. The tablet you're referring to is the holy tablets where it's spoken about. You can learn to talk to, we have a call. Okay. With everything, yeah, you just pay attention, change your actual being in terms of how the master explained it to us. And I've seen this happen. If you eat meat and eat animals, right, animals can sense that and pick that up from you. Because they're kind of looking at you like a danger to them. So you have to clean yourself inside out, and then your aura changes when you're cleansed, positive, giving off nice vibration, and then animals won't see you as a threat. Yeah? Most of the time, they will run away from people that are vibrating on a particular frequency that they fear, because they think you're going to harm me or something, and they draw close to you. Like he said, birds will fly and maybe rest on you. And I'm not saying every single situation or person that gets this means they're like so pure and spiritual or anything, but the majority is when they will draw closer to you. They won't fear you. Like when you're walking past, they won't run away. They'll just feel safe. But if they feel kind of sense any danger from you, then they run. So I'm saying that to say, once you've cleansed yourself inside out and you're peaceful and the energy you exude is nice and in harmony with nature and with animals, they draw close to you. Plants in your house, for example, they will grow, they will flourish, because people say they speak to plants and communicate with them, and you have to listen out for all these signs to see how they're responding to you. You also have your ancestors that vibrate on that next level, because remember, what we call the plane of force is a level above the physical plane, and things can affect the physical from the plane of force, and your ancestors could utilize these forces to communicate to you through animals and through plants and trees and so on, because they have to give you signs. They have to, if you're not attuned to the point where you can actually manifest them, so they will use other animated objects to communicate with you. So you start to look and what, like for example, if you're going somewhere and a particular butterfly just happens to be around you, and then you go somewhere else, that same butterfly you see again, you go somewhere else, that butterfly is there. And then let's say you go from your house, you went somewhere far, even driving or whatever, but you get to your destination and you see the same exact type of butterfly, or it might be a ladybird, whatever it is, right? And then you come home and you see the same butterfly. You would have to say to yourself, and I'm sure many people have had this experience, how strange is that? How is it that this butterfly seems to be with me everywhere I go? And you might start to say, you know what, maybe my ancestor or someone is trying to give me a message. You might say, well, what's the message? You would work it out. And eventually, it might be that you're in a situation, and when it appears, it's saying, yes, it's a good thing. And when it doesn't appear, or vice versa, like it appears, it says, don't do it. Do you know what I mean? So there are many ways you will learn to communicate with animals. It's by, remember, okay, language as well is another part of this. So language is not always spoken like how we're speaking now. This is actually, it's a lower way of communicating, because communication can be in many forms, and originally it was in tones, yeah? Then those tones became events or symbols that were caught into symbols, and those symbols eventually became letters, and those letters eventually were used to form alphabets, and then those alphabets were used to form words, And those words are used to form sentences, and sentences are used to form paragraphs. Paragraphs are used to form chapters, and before you know it, you have a whole book. All right. We have a live caller. So please tell us where you're calling from, what's your name, and your questions, please.
Greetings. This is Delilah. I'm calling from the States in Florida.
Rahubat.
My question, it's not really a question. I'm calling to confirm what you're saying about the animals.
Okay.
I was in my house. I went to the lake. This happened probably last week. I was at the lake on my property, and there's normally always this bird that I've recognized that has lost this little feet, one of the feet, I don't know what you call it. So I've seen it several times when I'm sitting at the lake. So I walked from the lake back to my home, and I heard a weird noise on the gate. I'm like, what is this noise? And I saw a bird that I didn't recognize before. And then the little black bird that has the injured little feet was there as well. He had flown underneath my patio table. And I said, is that the same bird? So I stared at the bird that was about to attack the little innocent bird. And I stood in my window and I said, in my mind, I said, big bird, do not hurt little bird. Big bird, do not hurt little bird. And the bird he was like turning his head or whatever, trying to figure out where is this information, where is this coming from? Now, mind you, I've heard you say this before, what you're talking about with the animals, because I'm starting to pay more and more attention to it.
Right.
It freaked me out so bad because the bird was looking to, I guess he must have felt my energy or the waves or something, because I was thinking, big bird, leave little bird alone. When I tell you the bird flew off of the top of the gate onto my patio chair, I have the chairs tilted onto the table so the table stops him. The
Right.
bird flew onto the leg of the chair and was looking directly at me. It freaked me out. I wouldn't look at his eyes because I didn't know what would happen.
Yeah.
But the bird literally flew away
Tour.
and
Yeah.
left the little injured bird. By now, the little injured bird had flown underneath my patio table. So what you're saying is so true, because it just happened to me. And I was really like, okay, nobody is here. I said, I didn't even video this. Nobody is even here to know this. But
Yeah.
it actually happened. I kid you not. And thank you so much for talking about that, because I was about to lose my mind. But then I'm believing. I'm not believing. I'm being. I am. I I know it.
Yeah.
I see it. I feel it. And thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. It's always fantastic when we hear people share, because a lot of times we'll be teaching these things that people no one else is teaching, and people think we're strange or we're making it up. But when people confirm it, I tell you another story that relates to that with my own personal experience. Because when we learn and start to grow in consciousness, and especially in Wu-Sabat, and we realize that everyone and everything is connected in terms of when we say the chain reaction and every cause has an effect and vice versa. I used to be like, okay, now I can't hurt anything, because you know who or what gives us the right to look at a little ant as if their life is insignificant and just kill it. But then there's situations where you might be in your house and then a bee or a wasp or flies even will fly into your house, and they can be annoying. And originally, without knowledge and the ignorance, some people would just try to kill them or unalive them. And there were times where I would be like, literally, open the window and say, please, can you leave? And communicate with them and tell them to leave. And they will just leave and go out the window, which means that I don't have to go through all that chaos and, wanting to unalive them for no reason, just because they're irritating you. And sometimes like we say, it could be a message, it could be one of your ancestors or whatever. And again, I'm not trying to just to take it too far because every situation is going to be different. But there will be certain situations that you will have a feeling of connection. And remember, us as the original beings, as in before, certain animals, or shall I say, us being given intelligence, we are able to communicate, as I was saying before the call came in different ways, like mind to mind communication or telepathy, and if there were other species or beings, is she still on the line? Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't realize you're still on there. But yeah, so you can command and move things with your mind. This is where, telekinesis or certain powers come in, or like I said, mind to mind communication. And with cooperation and love, as in divine love, you can usher, you know, animals, and this goes all the way to certain people who are able to control animals, and all that story of like Tarzan in the jungle comes from this, because you can be looked at as an intelligent being. More, it depends on the animal, of course, because some animals are more intelligent than humanoids. But yeah, you can definitely communicate, relate to, and yeah, and work with any other thing in nature, because nature is nature, and animals are more in tune with nature. This is why if you see a flock of birds flying in one direction, it's not just by coincidence. It's normally because they're leaving or evacuating in time before something that is coming to that location. Also, yeah, when you're in the jungle or whatever, like they will leave you alone if another one, like people who go to say countries that have mosquitoes, they don't realize that, you know, if you eat, say, certain foods, that vibration draws the mosquitoes to you. So, for example, a lot of sugar, in your system will give a particular type of vibration. And then when they come and taste that sweetness in your blood, that's when you get attacked even more. So if you stop eating sweet things, and you'll find out that they will leave you alone. So there are sciences to how you vibrate or what you put in your body that will either attract or detract animals from you. And there's a movie called World War Z, which I point out a number of times, which is dealing with the zombie apocalypse. And in that movie, the Z is very important because it's a red Z, and Z is the end of the alphabet, and it's talking about the end of, the end of the world, about a particular type of world, obviously, where there is a zombie apocalypse, and these beings, they smell you, and they smell you by way of your blood or your vibration or what you put into your body. So beings that didn't give off a particular scent, they couldn't smell them or find them because they couldn't actually really see you, but they only work off of your vibration or your, how you're smelling. So there's so many examples we could give to explain about why we don't eat meat, specifically, anything with parents, and why, and the Z is no coincidence being red as well. So this is a movie we would recommend for you to check out so you can understand about changing your vibration. But I hope that helps in some way. The feet of the birds are either called toes or claws. So if that helps.
Okay, it's called claws.
I think you're breaking up. Yeah.
You said the feet of the bird is called a claw.
Yeah, some birds, they call them claws or toes, just like we have toes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
I
Was
have
it?
one other. I
Yeah.
have. Can I? Do I have time for another question?
Yeah.
For a
Sure.
question, rather.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Coming from a Christian background, I mean real Christian. I mean Alabama, Mississippi Christian.
I hear you.
uh, and you know how we were taught. Well, I'm not sure if you know, but we were taught that, and I can envision this from studying Wu-Sabat and the master teachers teaching, reading the scrolls. I can imagine it even more, the idea of a location, city, town, place where everyone is on a agreeable vibe, I'll say. I can imagine that because that's what we were taught as a little girl. I remember we're going to be in a world where no more dying, no more crying, and all that good stuff.
Right.
What does that look like
It looks like
in
what
this time?
we already had it. That's what Tamaray was, our land in Eaton, Georgia, which was actually showing that in real time, in real life, and it was what many people described as heaven on earth. It's funny you should say that because the JWs also used to have those types of the JWs, Jehovah Witnesses, used to have
Oh my word.
these pamphlets that their tower. I can't remember what it's called, something tower. But yeah, I used to look through their
The
brochures.
watchtower.
That's the one, the watchtower. Before getting deep into researching them and so on, but they used to have these paintings of this place that's all lovely and peaceful. Except that I didn't used to see any black people in them, and I used to ask them that question, but I'm digressing. But yeah, Tamaray, Egypt of the West, that's what the blueprint or black print was. It was a beautiful place. People from all walks of life would come. There wasn't really there was no incident of fighting, abuse, nothing like that until obviously later on where certain people decided to desecrate it. But it is something that we're working on, and that is something that is spoken about, and it's something that we are working on even now as a reality. So it's like heaven on earth, and you have to think when we teach things like cleaning yourself inside out, stop killing animals or unaliving animals to eat, treat people the way you would like to be treated, living peacefully, a shook, love and, unity. That's a place where only people who want to live like that, vibrate like that, are going to be able to live in that type of a place, because people that want to do things that are not agreeable don't really want to be around people who are not doing the same thing as them. So people that want to live that type of life, they will mostly be attracted to like cities and city life, not country and living by natural nature and in harmony with nature and peace. They want to go to the bright lights. They want to, smoke, drink, party, take drugs, be promiscuous and all that stuff. So there is a separation, and it was like that before when you had different zones on the planet. And that's what the planet was like originally, with the green zone, which was known as Nupu, before these disagreeable alien beings came and basically raped and produced offspring that brought about chaos and division. So then there was another zone set up called Zupu, which was the red zone for the containment, or where you were quarantined. But then, of course, they broke out and mixed, and now there's chaos on the planet because people from the green zone went into the red zone, and people from the red zone went into the green zone, and now contaminate everything. And now we're back to that point. And this happened many times where they tell you that the world had to be started again. And the last one, if you use the religious books, was like the last time there was a promise made to Noah that the world would not be destroyed by water in the latter day, because previously it was floods that were the restart. Not the entire world, but just certain places, just like how today we have tsunamis. But it was said that it will be by fire. But people didn't really know that fire that they're talking about is the sun, because the sun is literally a ball of fire, hydrogen and helium that is burning. So this is what people are now talking about, calling it the sun cycle. And those who can't live under the sun will literally give them skin cancer, and it's anyone who their body or their DNA and their mind, their thoughts, their vibration is of a low vibrational frequency, are gonna have to go through this judgment that we're calling, the new sun cycle that's coming in, or the Aquarian age. And it is happening. People call it global warming and all types of names that they refer to it by. but it is this time, and the cleansing is going on and happening in all sorts of ways, with natural disasters, with a lot of wars and things that are going on, because the Adamites who have created this chaos for the last 6,000 years, their time is up. It was up as of the year 2000 AD, and this is what we're going through right now, this transformation. And a lot of people are becoming more spiritually aware, more consciously aware. They call it woke. When you're waking up, you're realizing what's going on around you. You're seeing the world for what it really is, and that you don't want to be a part of those that are descending. You want to ascend. So you hear ascension, you hear all of these words that people that are trying to rise above, that vibration. So yeah, this is going to be very real, and for those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes, and that's what's very important. Does that help?
Oh, excuse me. Very much so. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you all are
Thank you.
doing, and I appreciate your time. I've learned a lot from reading The Man from Planet Risk. I
Right.
think that is where I discovered the breakdown of the DNA of the animals from the cleaning. We know when they had to go down and when the animals were created. And that just, I didn't need anything else. I haven't eaten meat since I read it. So,
Right.
and then I have a better understanding of why not. And this is another thing that I appreciate about the scrolls and the teachings is that I was telling someone in my family, I say I walk away with the impression of me and me doing better, opposed to when you read a book that someone has written, you only find their handprint or footprint. When you read a book, but when I read the scrolls, I'm reading information. Even though it's coming from the master teacher, the information is for me. The
Right.
information is for everyone. It doesn't specifically say, well, I did this, I did that.
That's
No,
right.
it leaves a place for me to find me. And that's what I appreciate, and that's why I'm hooked. And I think I've been picked from life because when I found this, and since I've been on this journey, I called it the truth journey, because when my mom passed away, it broke me open, because we lived such strict religious life, but her life was so, it just wasn't, I just,
It
I just
wasn't
couldn't
aligning.
understand. It had to be something different. So
To
thank you so much.
yo,
You came across my timeline or scroll or whichever on YouTube, and I've been hooked ever since. So yeah,
appreciate
I'm
love you
I'm
too.
so thankful, and
Thank
I'm
you.
trying my best to get to the next step of basically talking and introducing the scrolls, even reading the scrolls, perhaps something, but I'm slowly working towards getting to the point where I can really share more and more of the scrolls.
Thank you. There's a couple of points you mentioned. Yeah, it is a part of you, and it's already in your DNA. Like your story, our ancestors are so intelligent that it's encoded in your DNA. So reading it, it just what we call it gives you a DNA explosion, and that is like a remembering tool. So you already know it. It's within your DNA, your genetics. That's why we say intelligence, intel in your genetics or in the genes, and they just get activated by the information because you're the one. It's about you. It's about each one of us, and we're one collectively once we start to apply it, because it's a universal message. And that's why Wu-Sabat, when you listen to me as a student teacher and you listen to another student teacher, we say the same things. It's not there's no division between us. I mean, people are at different stages in their development or in how much knowledge they've acquired, but whatever they're exposed to from the master teacher, when they share that, you can read one book and share that. But I do get what you're saying. And the next point that you made that's such an important thing is that there are levels. You can come across it for the first time, you start to read, you start to get experiences, you start to know things for yourself, and the next stage is to meet with other like-minded people. And that's why we encourage people to go to their nearest community, the stores, because you being a part of it, is you're also helping. And a lot of times people just think that someone else is going to do it, but you are a part of that puzzle. Your energy, your skills, whatever you have to give makes up that piece that you have to bring to the puzzle. So go into the stores, because they don't realize there's normally only a small handful of people that are actually dedicated, committed to holding things up. And since we've been dispersed, and since the master teacher has been kidnapped, and we always encourage people to come together, because when you come together, you put your energies together, and everyone who thinks on a high level tells you that there's power in unity, there's power in working together. So yeah, the next stage for you, I'm not sure if there is a community near you, but you can check on our website, is to try and visit. If you can't go regularly, but start with being around other like-minded beings, and then you're going to take it to another whole level when you speak and connect with other people. All right.
Well, I definitely will do that. The closest bookstore is there's two. One is Lithonia, and the other one I think is Blue Mountain in Georgia.
Okay.
And I believe they're both about probably 9 hours, 10 hours from where I am. I believe it is. Well,
Okay.
no, 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 no. Probably about 7 hours, 6 or 7 hours, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
that is the goal to take a trip, even just for knowledge, just so I can put a voice with the face with the voice, however it goes. But
Okay.
yes, that is a goal that I'm thinking about
Good.
doing, and that's the next step.
Nafirmul. Beautiful. All right. Thank you. Tawat.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wadu.